everyone, and welcome to today's class. Today we're going to be doing an everyday Vinyasa flow. This is a class you can come back to literally every day. It's just a classic basic sun salutation class. So you'll be getting a little bit heated. We'll be opening up the hips as well and even testing your balance. So it's a really good, just classic everyday flow for any level or style of practice. So we're going to start in a cross-legged seat here. You're welcome to sit up on a block to kind of elevate you. You're also welcome to sit up on a folded blanket just to make this even more comfortable for you. Take a moment to close down the eyes, sitting up tall and finding a deeper breath in and out the nose. Just taking this moment to ground deeper into the earth. Noticing where you're at today. You're welcome to set an intention here as well. Something that can give you light and energy throughout your practice and throughout your day. Whatever you need that to be today. Sinking deeper into the earth as we breathe and stretching through the crown of the head a little bit higher to find more and more length as we continue that deep in and out breath through the nose. And then take your hands to prayer at your heart, softly bowing your chin in towards your chest. Fill up the body entirely with that breath as we prepare for our practice. Let that intention fill your body completely. And then let everything else go. Then softly flutter open the eyes and meet me in a tabletop position on your hands and knees. Your hands are directly underneath each shoulder, shoulder width apart, and your knees are hip width apart, directly underneath each hip. Tuck your toes here to get a nice stretch through the backs of the feet. Pull the belly in to find length in the spine as you gaze between your palms. Take a big inhale to drop the belly, lifting your gaze, rolling the shoulders back away from the ears. And then on your exhale, going the opposite direction, pulling your belly in towards your spine and your spine towards the ceiling as you tuck your chin into your chest. And then continue this movement back and forth at your own pace, following the inhales and exhales, and finding this marriage between the breath and the body. Linking every inhale and exhale to your cat and cow. Taking it nice and slow as we warm up the spine so that we can move safely throughout our practice. And then feel free to deviate from that movement, maybe rocking a little side to side, opening up the side body, maybe rounding through that cat and cow, going in opposite directions. And then keeping your toes still tucked here, send your hips back onto your heels and reach your fingertips forward as you melt your chest towards your thighs and towards the earth. You're welcome to keep this stretch going through the back of the feet, but if this feels a bit too intense, you're also welcome to deepen the stretch in your hips a bit further and let the feet go, resting the toes against the mat, sinking further against the earth. And then maybe swaying a little side to side. And then walk your hands over to your right side, stacking your left hand on top of your right and sinking deeply into that left hip. Staying here for 2 full breaths. Opening up the left side of the body. And then walking the hands through center and over to the left side. Stack your right hand on top of your left and sink deeply into that right hip. Inhale to feel the body rising. And exhale to find a deeper settling in the body. Then walk the hands back through center, tuck the toes, and peel the hips up and back towards the sky to find your first downward facing dog. Walk the feet out just a little bit and maybe even walk the hands forward if you need to really widen your stance. Your feet about hip width apart. You can pedal out the feet here, making sure to really claw through the fingertips as if you're gripping a basketball. You want to have a really tight grip. Maybe stretching one leg and then the other. And then slowly walking the feet to meet your hands at the top of your mat and folding forward. Your feet should be about 2 fists apart here. So if you do that, placing the 2 fists between your feet, keeping that hip width distance will be your safest bet when folding forward here. You can keep a soft bend in the knees to really release and let go in the lower back. You also have the option to straighten the legs a bit more if you have more of an opening in those hamstrings. And then on your inhale, find a halfway lift, really lengthening through from the hips into the crown of the head, really finding length, and then lowering back down into that fold. From here, really ground through your feet and reach the arms up high as you come to stand, and then bringing the palms down through center in prayer at your heart. And just taking this moment to collect yourself and come back to the breath. Then taking a big inhale to reach the arms up high. Then on your exhale, sending the hands through prayer and all the way back down to that fold. Inhale to find length, finding that halfway lift, pulling the elbows towards one another, and then releasing back down to that fold. Plant the palms, step 1 foot back and then the other to find a high plank. You're also welcome to keep the knees on the mat here and continue this next part, doing whatever feels comfortable for you, and then shifting forward wherever you are and lowering all the way down to your belly. Untuck your toes, and from here, take your hands by your ribs and either press up to a cobra, just lifting the chest, or you can press up entirely to an upward facing dog, maybe even lifting your thighs off the mat as well. Continuing that deep breath, and then slowly releasing back down to the earth, tucking the toes, and pressing back up to your downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet here, and then step or hop to the top of your mat, finding your fold. Inhale to find length. Exhale, fold. Ground through the feet. Inhale, reaching up high, coming to stand. And exhale, bring the hands to prayer. Inhale, circling the arms up around. And then exhale, bringing them through prayer and folding forward. Letting go in the head. Inhale to find that halfway lift, pulling the shoulders back and lengthening through the spine, and exhale to fold. Plant the palms and step back to your high plank or your plank on your knees, finding length in the spine, shifting forward and lowering all the way down to your belly. Tuck the toes, find that upward facing dog or cobra, pressing away from the mat, opening up the chest, take a big inhale. And exhale, slowly releasing. Tuck the toes and meet me back in downward dog. Pedal it out for a breath. And step or hop to the top of your mat, finding your fold. Inhale to find length. Exhale, fold. Ground through the feet. Inhale, circling the arms up high, coming to a standing position. Exhale, bring the hands together in prayer and fold directly into that fold. Inhale to find that halfway lift and exhale, fold. Inhale to find your plank, and this time see if you can lower through chaturanga and directly into your upward facing dog without touching the mat. Take a deep breath and release back to your downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet here. Take a moment to breathe. We're going to start to open up the hips. So bring the big toes to touch. Drop that left heel and extend your right leg up high wherever it feels comfortable. It doesn't have to be super high. As long as it's straight and the toes are pointed and you're feeling good. Take a big inhale here wherever you are. And on your exhale, shift your knee in towards your nose and step it through about where you had your right thumb. And then drop that back knee, untucking the toes. Square off the hips, and then if you'd like, you can bring your hands on your front thigh and just gazing forward. Rolling the shoulders back. You have the option here to roll your mat underneath your knee here if you need a little bit of extra support underneath that back knee. Maybe reaching the arms up high overhead and gazing between the hands. Continue to breathe deeply in through the nose and out through the nose. And then softly bring the hands back down to the mat, bending into that back leg. Straighten out your front leg and flex those right toes, squaring off the hips. Imagine that you're sending your left hip forward and you're pulling your right hip backward to really square them off, finding length. Focusing on length in the spine here, you're welcome to keep a soft bend in that front knee to lessen the intensity here. And you have the option to release maybe a little bit deeper, resting the chest on the thigh if that feels good for you. And then softly rolling forward back to that low lunge, come up on those back toes and step back into your downward dog. Pedal out the feet. Drop that right heel and extend the left leg up high, pointing the toes, squaring the hips. Take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, shift it forward, sending it through to that low lunge, and then dropping that right knee, untucking the toes, making sure that your front knee is directly in line with that ankle and it's not going past your toes. Take a moment to just find length here. Gazing forward. You can take your hands to your front thigh, resting here. This is also a really good flow to do post-run or after you've been sitting for a while to really open up the hips and release those areas that have been stiff and still in a certain position for a long time. You're also welcome to reach the arms up high, gazing between the fingertips. And then maybe releasing back down and finding that half split. Bending into the right knee and flexing those left toes. Your toes are active, creating length in the back of your left leg. Breathing deeply. You have the option here to find more relaxation in the upper body. Softening wherever you feel resistance. Then slowly rolling forward back to that low lunge. Come up on those toes and step back to your downward dog. You have the option here to take a vinyasa with me or just stay in downward dog. If you're following along with me, find your way to that high plank through chaturanga and to your upward facing dog. Continuing to breathe and then make your way back to downward dog. pedal out the feet here and step or hop your feet to the top of the mat, finding your fold. Keeping your feet about 2 fists apart. Take a big inhale, finding length in the spine. And exhale, fold. Inhale to reach up high, coming to stand. And exhale, bringing your hands to prayer at your heart. Taking a moment to breathe. And then we're going to test your balance. So bring your feet together here. Release your hands at your sides. Take a big inhale, filling the body completely, and then exhale out the mouth. And then find a point in front of you that you can send your gaze and keep your gaze there throughout this balance pose. Bring your hands to your hips and shift your weight onto your left foot, really grounding through all 4 corners of the feet, and then pulling the belly into the spine, engaging the core as you continue to engage that standing leg. See if you can cross your right leg on top of your left as you bend into that left knee. So it's kind of like you're sitting in a chair with your legs crossed. See if you can tuck those right toes behind the back of your left leg. If this is a bit tricky for you, you're welcome to keep the ball of your right foot on the outside of your left foot. This will test your balance, but it won't be so tricky that you wobble too much. So any variation is fine and effective. Taking whatever feels good for you. And then if you'd like to go a little bit further, keeping your gaze where it's at, your spine is long, drawing the hips down and the crown of the head up towards the sky. You can take your arms out in front of you, bending them into a 90-degree angle, and then send that right hand under and around the left arm as you come to twist it around, grabbing hold of the left palm with the right fingers. It doesn't have to be perfect here. Focusing on keeping the arms parallel to the mat, creating distance between the arms and the chest. Finding your balance for just a few more moments, and then slowly unraveling the arms, unraveling the legs. Shake out that standing leg, and then switching sides. So shift your weight into your right foot this time, really grounding through the ball and heel of the foot. You can rest on the ball of your left foot, just outside the outer edge of your right foot if that feels better for you for balance. If you'd like to take it a bit further, bending softly into your right leg and crossing that left leg over to tuck the toes behind that left shin. Soft bend in the knees here, really squeezing the midline towards your center. And if you'd like to take it a little bit further, as you pull the belly into the spine, really finding length through to the crown of the head and grounding through that big toe. You can take your arms forward, bend them into that 90-degree angle, and then your right arm is the anchor this time. So sending your left hand under and around, holding on to the palm with the left fingertips. This is a great upper back opener if you need a good stretch. Really finding distance between the arms and the chest. Pulling the belly in, keeping your gaze steady. Hold it for a few more breaths. You've got this. And then slowly unravel the arms, unravel the legs. Shake out that standing leg. And then take your feet as wide as the mat here. Your toes out, your heels in. Your knees pointing in the same direction as your toes. You can stay where you're at, but I'm going to be coming this way so that you can see me a bit better. Where you are, keeping that distance between the feet, and then just find a deep squat here. So your knees are pointing in the same direction as your toes. You can grab onto the floor here, maybe swaying a little side to side to just warm up the hips a little bit. If you need to sit on a block, this will create less pressure on the joints, especially if you have tighter hips. So feel free to do that, taking whatever variation you need. And then take your hands to prayer and press your elbows against the inner thighs. You have the option here to release the head heavy against your hands, letting go, opening up the back of the neck. We carry our heads around all day, so this helps us to just let go and fully release here, continuing that gentle sway side to side to keep the hips warm. Then gently drop the hands and come to sit all the way down. Extend your legs out in front of you, sitting up tall on the sit bones, flexing the feet. Inhale to reach all the way up high, and then exhale, walking the hands towards the toes. See if you can find length in the spine here. You have the option here to sit on a block as well if you need that little bit of elevation. You'll know that you'll need that block if you find that your back is rounding when you straighten your legs. You're also welcome to keep the legs bent here to allow for a deeper fold. Letting go in the lower back and finding wherever you feel the most comfortable. Finding length in the spine, maybe walking the hands any amount forward that feels good to you. If you have a lot of opening in the back of the hamstrings, you're welcome to grab hold of the feet here. Identifying wherever you feel the most resistance or tightness, and then just send the breath there. Let go in the head. Let it rest heavy. And then slowly walk your hands back and come to lie on your back here, hugging your knees in towards your chest, rocking a little side to side. And then extend your left leg out long, hugging your right knee in, and roll onto that left hip as you drop that right knee over to your left side. If you have a bit more of a sensitive lower back here, then I encourage you to keep both legs bent over to the left side. It'll be a little bit less intense on the lower back. And then maybe send your gaze over the right fingertips and see if you can press that right shoulder blade into the mat just as much as the left shoulder to deepen the twist a bit further. Continuing that deep breath, staying here for as long as you need. And then slowly coming back up through center, hugging the knees in towards the chest. Extend your right leg out long and send your left knee over to that right side as you roll onto the right hip. And remembering to take whatever modification or variation you took at the start of this pose, whether you've got both legs sent to the side or just one out, one in. And then maybe take your gaze over your left fingertips, really grounding through both shoulder blades evenly into the mat. You can close your eyes here, allowing yourself to find complete relaxation in this twist, as this is our final pose of the practice today. Then slowly coming back through center, using those abs to carry you up. Take your hands behind your thighs and softly rock forward and back to find your way up to a comfortable seat. Just coming back to whatever pose you started in, you're welcome to take Shavasana here as well if that feels good for you and if you have the time. But if you don't, you can just meet me up in this seated position. Closing the eyes, stacking head over heart, heart over center. Yoga has this way of sewing together all the beautiful pieces of the body in towards the midline and making it all become one. Notice how you may feel more aligned, a bit more at peace. You're always welcome to come back to this practice to feel those good feelings. Take these final moments to deepen your breath a bit further and allow your breath to fully absorb whatever intention you started with in this practice before you go about your day or your evening. Take your hands together in prayer at your heart. Maybe reciting that intention a couple more times to let it fully become one with your body and your mind. Then softly bow the head in towards the hands and whisper namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed this class, and I hope that you feel comfortable coming back to it again and again. Feel free to share it with anyone who you think would benefit from it, and I hope to see you again soon on the mat. Thank you.